Yeah, I think if you want to be just angry, you're doing very well.
Okay.
But I think it really is, I think, far richer.
Okay.
You know, it's like the duetto.
Yeah.
With Arsace.
Yeah.
You can be vehement and have a much, you know, you say it once again and once again and once again, and it's essentially to reinforce the argument.
Yes.
So maybe it's right that it should be louder. Huh? And we're going up the, you know, and maybe that's intensifying. But I think the you can't really say that isn't some kind of cry, some kind of emotion that's happening, you know. But there's something to say about this as well. Did singers, were they that thoughtful back in those days about anything else other than singing loud and fast? Especially if you cost lots of money and you come from, you know, from Napoli or Roma, and you've been on a ship and you're getting paid shitloads of money. I don't think so. Maybe this is, you know. But then again, then you have to take a look at what Handel or Bach or the great composers had to live with, perhaps, but what they were thinking about in their deepest of their hearts. You know, I mean, to me, Handel is one of the most expressive composers that I know. You know, it's a little anecdote. I've always thought that Handel should be unbelievably expressive, because the part writing for instruments and the melodic is just simply unparalleled. And I think his depiction of characters, just as the mankind, you know, the human condition and all that has never been better sort of served, really. And which means that attention to detail for me is very important. But I remember giving a Handel recital or a Handel whatever we were doing, and I got interviewed by a fellow by the name of Stanley Sadie. And he said, Christie is probably doing what Handel and his singers, we know, would never have done, right? Never really thought about, you know. Orchestras were expedient, you know. They had, the music was just simply thrown on the desk and it had been written a couple of hours before. The audience, the London audience, was notoriously stupid. What they wanted essentially was loud and fast. And they loved the idea of scandalous sort of opera stars and essentially, you know, all that tripe, you know, that you get in lyric milieu. But then he said, you know, it's revealing that someone who really loves Handel, as Christie obviously does, is now trying to show us richness and emotion and things that perhaps were not historical, but perhaps he was thinking about them nonetheless, because you don't take care of a score the way he does if there's some other kind of, you know, yeah. So he was writing sometimes for, I think, rather callous singers, although we do hear occasionally talk of writing of emotion, you know. But yes, he probably had orchestral people. He had some very good people playing, but yeah, maybe they just played loud at the beginning and less, yeah, and then played loud at the end, you know what I mean. But I think our approach because we're not involved particularly in those kinds of criteria of loud and fast, and yeah. So think about everything that you can make to make these scores gorgeous. Okay. Well, we can just ask Benoit to play the upbeat to 15, perhaps. Okay. Okay, now, yeah, there you have one dynamic plateau, and you don't vary it whatsoever. I'm hearing the same dynamic on the beginning. In fact, the entire text.
Okay.
Is that I would probably want to hear a little bit more variety. Mi prometesti, for yes, that's important. One time more you've promised me love. And then, but change the... This is an extraordinarily unusual line. Unbelievably, And I don't think you're really exploiting it,
Okay.
I would simply not, I don't think it has to be loud. And you're echoed by the violins, which means that there's something very, very emphatic, but I don't think it's loud. Or if you want to say it, it's and then just explode on the. So it's essentially the leave taking is commented with bitter, anguished sort of intensity. That could be one, yes. But then you'd have to do something different. It'd have to be more. It's just not. Think about contrast. Contrast essentially is Baroque. It's one of the bases of Baroque art. Yes. It is. I mean, when you stop to think about it, when do things like chiaroscuro happen? It happens around 1600, and it becomes a paroxysm, toward the end of the century, you see. Violent color, violent, essentially, contrast of light and dark, It's all part of the same aesthetic, you see. Also, don't forget too that the breath, which one tries to cover up, in proper singing, is an ornament. Audible breath. That's very important.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And registers. Yes. There's all kinds of recipes that have to do with, Let's take the B section now. We'll hear shall we a bit of the play out? Yeah, I think we can say that the key word is crudel, isn't it? It appears how many times? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Well, so that's what you call emphasis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And what's the other word that we would like? Which is a rhyming word. Così, basti. Yes. Yeah. It seems to me it's more emphatic, isn't it? Yeah. Does that require less motion or the same kind of movement or more? I again, there's the principle of rubato. You don't have to sing everything, as the conductor wants you to do so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially when you've got the liberty of the continuum. Dee dum 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 dum. Dee dum 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 dum. Dee da dum dee ba dum. Dee dum dum dee dum dee dum. Dee dee da dee da dee dum ba dum. Dee da dee dum ba da da. Yeah. You can't motorize the continual bars, but you can certainly, make them work a bit harder. Yeah. Yeah. I think too. What are you saying about the tempo? Is it about the same? Yada bada 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 bum bum dim bum 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 bum. Qu'est-ce que tu en penses?
Non, mais on peut faire effectivement libre, repartir un peu moins ici, et puis le faire évoluer jusqu'à l'entrée de l'orchestre.
Oui, oui. Encore une fois, peut-être? You hear what he's just said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the intervallic stuff is also important, which means essentially that I think that it's got to be sort of vehement speech, Yeah. Pum pum. Yeah. You're a rich character because essentially you're a very good one. We love you, actually. And you're one of the most lovable characters. And it takes time, but it's, do you have remorse? Yes, obviously. But you also, are you sad for yourself? Yes. Are you strong always? Or do you have moments of great weakness in terms of your emotions? Of course, you're a woman. Yeah. And you have to play that in a suit.
Yeah.
And that's the wonderful thing too.
Yeah.
That's Handel. It's So when you've got to be a male, yes, but you've got to show the audience right away, that you're not really a male such as opera wants you to be, with full of testosterone and what have you. So there, perhaps, poi mi inganaste, and in the double everything. Double all the consonants. But I think a little bit of a whimper can help.
Yeah, okay.
Try that. You are a rich character, especially because you're essentially you've changed sex for essentially very strange reasons. But, exactly to be close to someone who, yes, yeah. I think the word is vulnerable.
Yeah.
That's what I like. trust, it's very important when if you have lots of ideas, and that's important because you've got to complete the score, don't you?
Christie.